The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid? Scream Queens, the unofficial Scream Queens internet radio show exclusively on Papi Chulo Radio. Today is Sunday, December 6th, 2015, and I'm your host, Papi Chulo. During tonight's broadcast, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of Scream Queens. Later on in the broadcast, get ready for a spoiler alert as we bring you the hit Fox series' casting scoops, spoilers, and ratings. Special announcement, this week we begin Papi Chulo Radio's year-long celebration honoring PapiChuloRadio.com's 5-year anniversary. So please welcome my fantastic co-hosts. First up, when you're ready to do the deed, be careful because he's not going to do it with you because he's a murderer. It's Wilson Hammond Jr.
Oh, you know it. I'm going to murder it in 2 different ways. Hello.
Wow.
Whoa.
Cha-ching.
There you go. Wilson's snatching virginities left and right.
Perfect.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
I was going to
Anywho.
say that, but then I didn't want to say the kids part because I didn't want him to sound like Jared from Subway.
Well, that is true. And you hear him talking right now. He was bequeathed a large box of lube. And we all know what he's going to do with it. It's Prince Rico Suave.
Absolutely. And you don't just bequeath a box of lube to an acquaintance.
That's true. They're secret gay lovers.
Man.
Yeah, in fact, you used the word bequeath.
I love that word. Oh my god! Like I'm so amped that Chad used that word. I was like,
it sounded like he said bequeath. That's what.
I'm surprised he knew that word.
They're SAT words, I guess, and fancy rich people words. And since you hear her, she survived a poisoning, a cryogenic freezing, and a near, not really, drowning. It's Priscilla.
Better than Rasputin. Hey, y'all.
Yes.
Better than Rasputin. Nice.
I heard that was your nickname in the hood.
Yup.
Gangster.
She is. She's the OG Rasputin. She was
You know
Rasputin
how I
before
do.
Rasputin. Maybe not. So let's jump into our recap of episode 111, titled Black Friday, and it aired on December 1st, 2015. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. The Chanels head to a nearby shopping center to celebrate Black Friday, but the Red Devil awaits and attacks the girls with a crossbow, but manages to only maim Chanel and murder a uniform police officer. Wes, Pete, and Grace go to the police to report Gigi's death, only to find that the entire police department has been fired due to wasting resources, and that Denise has been appointed the new chief of police. Chad brings Pete to the Dickie Dollar Scholar's house and reveals that Boone left most of his possessions to Pete, despite the fact that the two barely knew each other. Chad suspects that Boone and Pete were gay lovers. However, Pete admits that Boone was his source for a story about the negative effects of the Greek system. In response to Boone's friendship, Chad decides to offer Pete, who once tried to pledge the Scholars, membership, but he refuses. Recovering from her injury, Chanel decides that the only appropriate course of action is to murder Dean Munch, assumed by everyone to be the killer. But Munch survives both an attempted poisoning and 30 minutes in a cryogenic stall. Pete enlists Wes to help investigate Gigi's past, and they discover that Gigi was just an alias. Her birth name was Jess Meyer, the sister of Amy, another of the Kappa members from 1995, who later committed suicide after her role in the bathtub incident, giving Gigi her motive to destroy Kappa. Content with his new discovery, Pete decides he will finally begin writing his story, as the only remaining piece of the puzzle is the identity of the remaining Red Devil. But he then begins acting suspiciously and decides to flee the campus for an unknown reason. Grace intervenes and tells him she wants to have sex with him, but he protests that he doesn't want Grace to lose her virginity to a murderer. So let's get everyone's initial reaction to the episode Black Friday, and we'll start off with Priscilla.
Oh my god. Anything that's usually like a Grace and Pete centric episode makes me yawn. This was like almost 3/4 Grace and Pete, and I was just kind of like, when is this like Grace drama going to be over? Why the hell is she getting the sex talk at like 18 or something? What the fuck?
50.
I know. Like I don't know. This was my least favorite episode out of like the bunch. The only thing that saved it was Chanel and I forgot what her name is.
Denise Hemphill.
Yes. The
Yes.
only thing
Yeah.
that saved it.
Oh,
Okay,
Denise. She's our spirit
I feel like-
animal.
Yes.
Prince, continue on. What were
Okay,
your
cool.
initial thoughts on the episode?
I was getting pretty upset on one point. Oh, yeah. I felt like I'm watching like the early childhood of Alex. Grace is like Alex
Oh my gosh.
in college.
American Horror
I'm
Story crossover apocalypse.
I'm just gonna keep saying that. Like we're watching Alex's college years.
She's so lame.
So she
Almost as good as Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Ooh, that was lame too.
I know.
Yeah, like the whole Grace aspect and Pete was lame. The only thing that was funny about Pete like was certain aspects, but I'm like, it was lame. Chanel was funny. I'm like Chanel and Dean Munch, like that whole dynamic, the whole sorority aspect, I like that part. I like everything except for the Grace and Pete. I could have did without that. Even if it dropped like little hints and gave little clues, I'm like, I still could have did without that. I could have waited till the finale without those clues. That's how bad I didn't want them in the episode.
Well, there you go. Wilson, your thoughts on the episode?
So we went an entire, 24 minutes and some odd seconds minus commercials, and I didn't get any great deaths. So, I mean, the cop got whacked, but nobody I wanted to see go. So we know where I'm starting off with, but I did like that this was minus that god-awful hat. So even though we had to look at her the majority of the time.
J-Day got it though.
Yeah.
Someone had.
It looked good on her.
Yeah, it did. She manages to make stupid hats look okay.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe because she owns them. Grace doesn't really own being Grace, but Zayday owns being Zayday, so it's kind of.
And she's got swag.
Yeah. So, but it did like Prince said, although there was some clues dropped, I could have waited on at this point, like that's all that we really care about is who the Red Devil is, you know what I mean? So like everything else is just kind of stalling us out until then. In my opinion, like this is equal to another episode in the season where what week was that?
I
Blanking
think
right
it was
now.
like the second or the third episode that you were just kind of like, there's not enough killing. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, and so it's kind of that vibe, like there. But the saving grace was like the kind of little random things, like, hey, I didn't think of that, and you threw that out, and that's the theory that we were all
I
planning
think
on.
the episode that you didn't like was the one where there wasn't any progress in the episode. It was the dean killed her her ex.
That one, that's the episode, yes sir. Yeah. So I feel about that way about it, but at the same time, I mean, it had its good pieces. We'll get to that, I guess. Thank you for Denise coming in and Shout out to Dean Munch once again this week for doing her best serial killer comeback from the dead impression. So she thought she was Michael Myers in the flesh for real today. So shout out to Dean Munch.
Yes, she was. Nice callback, Wilson.
Yeah, I didn't see that until now. She really can't be killed.
She cannot. I liked the episode. I thought it was a fun episode. It was light on the killings, yes, and it was light on a lot of stuff that we probably really wanted to happen, but I was still thoroughly entertained. I thought the one-liners were pretty good. Love seeing Denise. Yes, it was a lot of Grace and Pete, and yes, for some reason they decided to make Pete all extra suspicious in an episode, which I thought was fascinating, but they kind of have been doing that with all the other characters, so I guess it was Pete's turn. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. I don't know if they're trying to make him extra suspicious to all of a sudden then at the end say, oh, it wasn't him, it's really Candle Vlogger. Bum, bum, bum. Dun, 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 dun.
That is my theory, and I am sticking to it.
There you go. But we'll hear more about that towards the end of the episode. What were you going to say, Prince?
Never mind.
Okay, were you gonna give your own theory already?
No, I was gonna burst
Fucking
bubbles.
Grace, man.
I was gonna burst bubbles.
Okay, don't burst bubbles until after we have predictions. Give her a little hope. Give her hope a little bit before you start bursting her bubble.
I
Leave
will.
my Priscilla alone.
Aw.
Yeah.
So before we start bursting bubbles, let's actually get into the meat of the episode. So we kick off the episode right after the horrific Gigi served up for Thanksgiving dinner cliffhanger from the last episode. And we all know what happens after we eat or not eat Thanksgiving dinner, right? It's Black Friday, which is Chanel's most favorite non-Chaneloween holiday of the year. We see why she likes the holiday. She loves paying employees to get into the store 30 minutes early. She buys all the good stuff, leaving just one. She loves the hippo parade and watching people in their sweatpants getting trampled. Who doesn't love that on Black Friday? You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of that YouTube video of that poor lady getting trampled and her wig falls off, but then she gets up and she dusts her wigs off and puts it back on and heads into the store.
So
If you've never seen it, YouTube it. It's hashtag classic and hashtag masterpiece. So they're ready to leave, all the Chanels, to get their Black Friday on. But Dean Munch steps in and she's like, I'm going to be, like the mother figure that you never had. You're going to get your ass into the living room. You're on timeout. You're not leaving because people are trying to kill people. They're snatching wigs, snatching kids, everything. You have to stay safe.
Seriously,
And
who
Chanel?
thought that was gonna work?
Well, yeah.
It's Chanel. No. Even if it is Dean Munch. Like,
Basically.
You're the
And they're not
shit.
children. They're adults. So the dean has no control over them. And, of course, she gives her theory. She thinks that the dean is the killer. So they'll be out there. The killer will be here. They'll be fine. So they leave and they head to the mall. And while they're at the mall, the Chanels have, or I should say, Chanel has an epiphany. Because before, she used to buy gifts for her friends that were very cheap, bargain basement, the cheaper the better. And then she would get herself a fancy schmancy gift. But while she's chatting with the other Chanels, in particular about what the other Chanels got her for Christmas, something that they assumed she would like, she finally realizes that, what, I need to stop buying gifts for people that are cheap, to make them suffer. I need to start buying people that I care about gifts that they will actually like. So they're ready to leave Black Friday and head to the nearest car dealership because she's going to get pink Jeeps for everybody. Who cares about Black Friday? Let's get some pink Jeeps. So as they are ready to leave the mall, everyone disappears, basically. There are no shoppers in the mall on Black Friday, which was fascinating. I mean, wouldn't they have noticed that? All the stores are closed, the lights are being turned off, and they're locked in the mall. They try to leave. Poor Chanel number 5, she tries to open the door. There's like a chain on it. She tries to attempt to, I guess, squeeze through the chains. And Chanel's like, really? You're going to try that?
oh my god, I was so worried about her. I was so worried they were gonna pull a Resident Evil and just like slice that hand off.
Well, that would be hashtag classic right there. So, and she stops trying to do that, and then we have the Chanel's screaming, and then Chanel number 5 turns around, and the Red Devil is outside with a crossbow. She screams, they all start running, they get on, I believe it was the escalator, right?
Wait, the girls?
Yeah, do they run to the escalators, or do they just run straight forward?
They run straight forward. Like, they're the ones that escape, that get out of,
Well, no, they run first. They run somewhere
down
first.
The escalators. Yeah,
they run down. Yeah,
the
they do run down the
escalators,
escalators.
and then they run out like under
And then
that.
they run into the Red Devil. We see the Red Devil there, and so they run again, and they find I don't know if that's like a storefront that still has like the that chain door type of thing that they pull down. It was like halfway open.
Garage door.
Yeah, 3 of the girls go under there with all their belongings. Chanel drops her belongings under there, so I guess they take that away. But then Chanel decides to woman up and face the Red Devil, who she thinks is the Dean, and face to face, that kind of thing. So Chanel calls out the Red Devil. Dean, I'm here. Let's settle this once and for all. The Red Devil shows up. And, he's got the crossbow, shoots Chanel Oberlin in, it looks like the shoulder area.
The shoulder.
Yeah. She falls down, and the Red Devil approaches, sets up the crossbow, gets ready to shoot again, but then, bam! In comes Chief of Police Denise Hemphill with 2 of her police officers. I'm about to say her best police officers, but not really. 2 of her police officers, employees, and she goes into this large monologue of, well, I am Denise Hemphill, and I'm here to save the day, and only I could find it because I'm good at sleuthing, and I am the chief of police now, and I got you now, Red Devil. She even does a little twirl thing with her gun, but she couldn't really even do that right. Chanel's like, you got a gun now? She's like, of course. And as she's talking and saying all this stuff, the Red Devil shoots an arrow into one of the police officers' head, and and then Denise is like, oh no, and she's like, I shouldn't have talked that much, and she starts running after the Red Devil. The Red Devil knocks over the mall's ginormous Christmas tree and escapes, much to the disappointment of Chanel Oberlin. So let's pause right here and let's talk about the Black Friday shopping and that scene. Is that how Black Friday was for all of you this year? You been getting chased by a Red Devil in the mall?
I don't shop like that, so
I wish it would have made it more eventful.
Okay.
I got what I wanted for Black Friday, so no Red Devil there.
Yeah, I'm an eBay guy, so if he showed up there, then I was screwed.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, I don't know how the Red Devil would play with Cyber Monday, but it'd make life easier. All you got to do is show up to people's houses. So let's talk about the mall incident. What do we think? And Denise, of course, chief of police.
When I
want to talk about Denise.
Oh,
that was hilarious. She just went into that long, drawn out speech, and for some reason, I was like, somebody's gonna die. And when the cop died, and it's kind of jacked up that he died, but it was still hilarious because I was like, really? She talked so long that somebody got killed. You could have caught him in all this talking. You did all this talking. So yeah, that was hilarious to me. I think they should have noticed the place was empty, obviously. That was pretty freaking dumb. But yeah, when Chanel got shot, I was laughing my ass off as well. I was waiting for something bad to happen to her, and that was awesome. So yeah, that was my take. I just thought that was a funny scene. So I'm out of that one.
No, when Chanel got shot, it reminded me of Scary Movie 1.
Dude, it's been forever since I saw Scary Movie 1.
Yeah, when the chick's she ends up breaking her own bones and stuff like that. Oh, the killer's coming, and she breaks her knee and drops. Oh, I'm so scared. What are you gonna do? And
was that Regina Hall?
Yes. No. That was one of the chick. I can't remember. She was big at one point and then fell off.
Okay, well there you go. Well, whoever you were, thank you for reminding Prince of you.
Yeah. No, that's what that scene kind of reminded me of, because she was still talking shit after being shot in the arm. yo, chick, like this isn't a joke.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that scene now.
Yeah.
And it was
I don't
like,
remember who the hell it was though, but
Yeah.
we're thinking about you.
I think it was like Elizabeth Banks or some shit like that. All right,
Oh, it might have been Shannon Elizabeth,
that's it. Good job.
American Pie chick.
Teamwork.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you're gonna shoot me now. Oh, now you're gonna chop me up. Oh, you're gonna. Yeah.
So that's how I kind of got the vibe of that, but I just didn't understand how it's Black Friday shopping because you start at midnight, so you got in there. How there wasn't nobody there? Because then it starts to be morning.
Well, because they had
them
bought
early,
already a lot of
yeah.
stuff, because they had a lot of things. So that isn't exactly midnight. That's like well into the shopping. But how did everyone end up
But that's what I'm saying.
disappearing?
It's still
is what I'm
that means
curious
it goes
about.
to daytime, and people still shopping during the day. Even more people shop.
Yeah.
So that made no sense to me. But I was like, all right, we'll go with this. All right, we'll see where this is going. And then Denise came, and I was like, oh, all right, check you out, Denise. And then she disappointed me with the long Kanye
She
speech. And I was
disappointed
like,
you with the Kanye speech? Holy
I
shit.
love the Kanye speech. And
No,
can
the
we
Kanye-
just give her props because Denise Hemphill got a significant pay upgrade now that
got
she's
a
chief of
gun.
police?
What are you talking
I
about?
mean, how incompetent is this city that they just first you fire all the cops and then you
All of
promote
them.
Denise Hemphill to chief of police? Jesus.
Was
Right?
it?
Chanel number 3 looked at her and was like, you got a gun? Like, they gave you a gun?
I do love how the chief of police, like the ex-chief of police, super stupid, but he's just kind of like, maybe you shouldn't say that your ex-girlfriend died because we usually look for like the boy, like if the boyfriend did it, and he quickly shut the
He was like, yeah, no, we were going to break up anyways. Like, we were
That
thinking about
doesn't
breaking
help
up.
your case.
And then Pete's like, yo, dude, that doesn't help any better.
Well, who's to say Denise Hemphill was not like the star of Secure Enforcement Solutions? Maybe she was the best they actually had.
Well,
She's
that's
the only one that
because
actually-
Which is sad,
that's
but still.
Shondell died. Duh.
Well, I
Shondell was
think it's-
handing down Best Buy. Like, nobody was stealing TVs out of no Best Buy parking lot.
That is true. But isn't she also still the house mother? Or did that stop once the school got canceled?
Yeah, that might have stopped when the school got canceled because I don't even think
Yeah.
they're really supposed to still be there.
Yeah, no, but they still are.
Yeah, they've just chose not to leave. I'm like, I feel like in normal times, like an administrator would have already been through these buildings, like, yo, get the fuck out of here. But we're in Scream Queen land, so they're just gonna live in this big ass mansion,
Because why not?
right now. Which means like Chad's living in his all by himself because all the Dickie Dollar scholars went home.
You know, throughout like this whole thing, I was just kind of like, why is Chanel staying and sticking up for everyone? Like, she honestly couldn't give a hoot about like any one of them before, and now she's like the Grinch. Like, my heart grew 3 sizes that day. You all save yourselves. I'm gonna stand here and like face off against the Red Devil. I was like, what the hell? But I throughout all of it, I didn't suspect her like dying at all.
I think you killed Wilson.
It's so hilarious. Just every time I see her, the arrow, I think it's just the mattress. It was hilarious.
That
Actually,
was funny.
No, it wasn't. And then the fact that she was still talking shit, but no, you know what else was funny?
And the fact that she was still talking shit.
Like, I thought that was hilarious. No, you know what else was funny? When before they went shopping.
It didn't
when
have
they-
any blood, did it?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I don't know if that's supposed to be suspicious or that's just, the craziness of Scream
Well, I
Queen's
just
world.
I just figured she wears layers anyways too. She's always got like fur on fur on fur. She's got like
Yeah.
rabbit on mink on like chinchilla.
She eats cotton
On
balls.
camo.
Cotton balls probably soaked up all the blood.
Yeah,
Right.
that too.
No, I thought the funniest actually scene was like at the very first when like Zayde's talking about how Gigi's head smelled good.
Oh, yeah. The
like,
dean is
total-
consoling.
Total
She's like-
donor party.
Yeah,
Crazy.
she was like, and I really don't want to say this, but like it smelled kind of good. And I was just like, yo, dude, only Zayde would sit there and be like, yo, that head smelled kind of good. We should have probably just ate it.
She's gonna have like Gigi with some Oakland nachos. What the hell?
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, she had that honey glaze and a whole lot of paprika.
Pretty
No, this
interesting death when they do kill people, by the way.
I was so worried Denise was gonna die though, because like we've been saying for a couple of like episodes that only 4 people are gonna make it, and she twirled that gun And I was just like,
Oh,
oh
I
my
love
god,
the
it would be
twirl.
so funny if she shot herself, but I don't want to see that happen because I want her for the ending.
I thought the same thing. I was like, yo, that'd be funny if she accidentally shot herself on the first day as the chief of police.
I caught the Red Devil on the first day. Fantastic. Can we say she looked good in her, like, Andy Griffith show, stereotypical police uniform?
But she's
Tina
used to
Temple
that
makes
and from
everything
Reno.
look good.
She's used to the police uniforms from Reno, so she's. But no, she does look good in a uniform. Gotta give it to Niecy Nash. You got that, girl. Got that.
Maybe that's how they're going to set it up. If there's a next season, maybe that's how they're setting it up. Like, we were thinking they were going to move cities. Maybe they're just going to move outside of there, and it's going to be like a camp in the city area where she's still police chief, And that's how
That would be
they're gonna keep her
amazing. And
tied
she
in.
always shows up every time that they get a call for something.
Right.
Well, we already know that the police system there is very inept, regardless of, with Denise, we already saw that before then. So that'll be interesting to see if they keep it within the same area. And we already know that the cops are horrible there. So, of course, if they go off to summer camp and there's killings at the summer camp, it's going to take them, well, they're not even going to figure out who it is. It's going to be someone that's at the camp that'll figure out who the killer is.
Indeed.
I loved Chanel number 3's line, because at one point they're like, we need to figure out who the killer is, and she's like, haven't we been doing that all along?
Right.
Again, she's the voice of reason, but nobody wants to listen to her. And she's so
Yeah.
histrionic that you never know when she's actually telling the truth or when she's just talking shit and you don't want to listen to her at all. I love Chanel number 5, but she can be really
Yeah, no,
ditzy.
she's getting kind of annoying now-ish. More so now that there's less people, that you kind of really kind of see why Chanel's always snipping at her, because I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
I don't know
shut
if
up.
I'm right anymore because you just think that I'm right. Oh my god, I don't remember what exactly that line was, but it made me crack the hell up. It's like, shut up, don't agree with me.
Yeah, that was good.
Right? Oh, yeah, she was like, you're making me second guess myself because you keep agreeing with me. Stop agreeing with me.
Aw, Chanel.
She was like, you stupid.
Poor
bitch.
Chanel. Poor, what's her name? What's her real name? Libby Putney?
Oh, yeah, Lemony Putney.
Poor Libby Putney.
Yeah,
So
with
let's
a name
move
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move into what happens after Black Friday. So all the Chanels and Grace and Zayde get together, and they all basically have a meeting to decide that they need to protect each other from getting killed, and everyone agrees, or is sort of agreeing, that Dean Munch is the killer, except for Zayde, of course. She's like, hell no. And Chanel has the idea to kill Dean Munch. Zayde, of course, disapproves, but Grace actually agrees with Chanel, and they decide in unison that they have to poison Dean Munch.
Thank you, Talking Pumpkinhead.
Yes, that was good. So they decide to set up a meeting with the dean at her house, and the ruse of the meeting is that they are planning to launch this new feminist organization on campus. And through scrolling through Dean's, I guess that's supposed to be Facebook feed, they figure out that she loves apple cider. So they create this special concoction of apple cider that includes blowfish venom in it. And it's lethal enough to kill several people because only one drop is needed, but they decide to empty the whole damn thing into the apple cider. So as they're talking and chatting, Dean Munch is drinking, and the girls, Grace and Chanel, are like, oh shit, she's gonna die right now. But now she continues on talking, and she takes some more of the drink, and then they're like, oh shit, she's gonna die. But then she continues on talking, and then she takes the final sip because she loves it. It's so good. She's like, is this homemade? And it looks like something's about to happen. Maybe the poison, the venom is finally seeping into her system, and it's all being absorbed, and she's finally going to keel over. But nope, it was just a burp. So they leave the dean's place with basically a new homework assignment that they have to write this, term paper on feminism and whatnot. Baffled by how the Dean survived this, they have another idea. The Chanels hatch a plan to use cryotherapy to freeze her to death in a cryo chamber. So they all head over to a spa with Dean, because I guess that's what you do, and the Dean agrees to cryotherapy with them while she's in the chamber. Chanel sets it below zero for 20 minutes. They're like, she's going to be a popsicle when the door opens. 20 minutes later, the door opens, and Dean Munch, covered with icicles, is alive and says she's never felt better.
I was totally expecting someone else to come out, like someone super young.
That would have been funny.
Oh,
so later on, they have a new plan, and this is the third plan, that they are going to drown the Dean because of everything that Chanel number 6 says about Rasputin. So they decide we're going to drown her in the pool. That's how we're going to kill her.
Did anyone else get like all cringy when she like rasps her nails on the table? I'm just like, ah.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that damn sound. Oh, I hate it.
Aww. So they come up with this plan where the girls get these new cell phones, and when it lights up pink, or red, was it?
It was red on the sides.
Red. When it lights up red, they're all going to meet at the pool, and they're going to get the job done. So, unfortunately, while having a fight while Libby Putney has a fight with the sales clerk because she wants to go home with size 0 lingerie, but she's really a 4, but she wants the tags changed, but the salesperson's not understanding, and then when she does understand, she's like, we can't do that, and she's like, well, why can't you do that? I want to be a size 0, but I'm really a size 4, but I want to be a size 0. So if any of you understood that, congrats, because that's basically what was happening while the phone was ringing.
I was worried. I was like,
okay, so
she's saying, why can't you get it, chick? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
What does that mean?
She basically
wanted the
wants
tag.
to feel like a 0. She wants the size 0 tag, but she's not a size 0.
She wants when people look through like her underwear drawer to see that she's a size 0 and to think she's a size 0. But she's a 4.
What the size 0? What does that mean?
That's like their
How small
like.
do you have? You were like really. That's like a kid size, isn't it?
No, that's model size. Like that's 0 to 2 is model size. So like, that explains why she's like, yeah.
Pass.
Oh, Libby Putney. So unfortunately, while Libby Putney's having her tirade at Vicky's draws, they miss the call. And so Chanel is there by herself with the Dean, and the Dean is suspicious as to why a pool, what's going on, this, that, or the other, and unfortunately, the plan ends up not happening. The Dean doesn't get drowned. Chanel doesn't even attempt to try to do anything, and they don't kill the Dean this episode. Aww. So let's pause right here and let's talk about all of these plans to kill the Dean.
I will say they're lampooning the shit out of Taylor Swift with the whole like millennial feminist thing. Like that she's been like all the shit that they were talking about is basically like what Taylor Swift's done, and like why like people complaining about her. So I was like, damn, Ryan Murphy, you are coming for her. That is epic.
She'll just shake it off. Shake it off.
Also, that cider looked good. Like like if I had to be like murdered, it would probably be through poisoning with cider.
Oh my gosh, it really did look good though. It was like a thick, like extra thick cidery, like just fantastic. The color looked good. I was like, I want some of that. I was surprised the other girls weren't drinking theirs. I was like, that looked so fucking good.
I was surprised that they didn't do something stupid like poison one of the cups, but they got it wrong, and I was like crossing my fingers, praying that it was Grace's. Like, please let her die. Please let her die. No,
that would have been awesome. That would have been epic. I would have loved it.
No, Grace has to make it to the end because she needs to find out who the other sibling is so that she can be shocked.
Yeah, Chanel too. Like, this has been like twice that she's been that we think that she might like die in this episode, and she doesn't. Did you see that look in the Dean's eye at the very end in the pool?
Yeah, I thought she was gonna be like, you know what, I'm about to drown your ass with those chains, and she wanted to sit there and lie to me. Which,
by the way, that was a terrible lie. Usually she's better at that.
Yes, bondage.
Bondage at the pool.
Fantastic. It's what all the kids are doing nowadays, freshman year of college.
that cryo freezer shit, I was just kind of like, though, is that a
That's
thing?
Chanel's sophomore year, so that's why she's like, we upped it a bit for our sophomore year. Water
That
bondage.
was...
We upped it for our sophomore year. You know, everybody's doing what is it? 50
Prin-
Shades of Grey freshman year.
Yep. Prince is
Like,
an
so-
expert in water bondage.
I know all about it. You have to have a safe word or, safe number of bubbles, like how many bubbles you're gonna blow up.
I was
Wow.
like, how are you gonna say safe word in the inside when you're drowning? Number of bubbles.
Number of bubbles. You gotta be like help like 5 times. Like that's my
Oh, wow.
that's my stuff. Those are my safe bubbles.
I really wonder
Good grief.
if in that beauty treatment anyone actually went in after her.
No,
Because
probably
holy shit, like, is that really is that really a beauty treatment? Because
It is.
what the fuck? It is.
It is. They even have chrono like gyms, so like you're in a big ice box inside doing workouts.
Holy fuck. No. Exactly.
Yeah,
don't
nah,
do
it's
this.
not.
For a while, and you didn't want to go outside to go out and start the car, let alone be fucking around working out and that shit. It is stupid.
I think like my commercials were perfect because right after that cryo thing, like Krampus came on at the same time, and I'm just like, this is like a perfect Christmas murder if someone like just freezes to death. We
Yeah,
kind
I
of
had
saw
it
that with Roger, didn't we? When he died, or I think
Mhm.
Yeah,
a visceral.
Yeah.
He died of cold,
Yeah.
but like, yeah. But the Dean is stronger than that. She's made of something. Mike Myers. You're right.
She's made of Mike Myers. She's made of faith, trust, and pixie dust, or whatever that is.
she's made of Tibetan monks.
That would that like she got monk powers and she knows like kick-ass fighting moves. She's gonna
Just
survive
from being a slut. Just from being a slut. You see where being a slut can get you nowadays.
You would know, wouldn't you?
I
would.
Dun dun dun. Plot twist.
I would.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I can't even with both of you. I cannot.
I'm your porn star's favorite porn star.
Yes. That's what Perkins used to say. No, let me stop.
And then I woke up.
Yes. On that note, let's continue on with everyone's favorite storyline of the episode. Maybe
I
not.
I was like,
I thought we already discussed them. I'm like, wait.
Yes, it's the only storyline left. So we have Grace and Pete. They're making out. You know, he's all excited. She's just as excited, but very cautious. And he's like, you know, let's do it. You know, he tries to get her to have sex with him, but she's like, no, I'm not ready. I still need to keep my precious pearl whole at the moment and chaste, and you know, because in horror movies, like, you can't have sex because you die.
yeah.
So
she's like that whole cabin in the woods, like the virgin.
she is the virgin, and we all know what happened to Sydney Bristow. Not Sydney Bristow. That's Alias. Sydney Campbell.
She now does special effects for the show.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
but she survived Woodsboro. I believe that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they try to have sex, but they don't. While all the other stuff is going on in the episode, we have a scene with Pete. And he's talking to somebody on the phone. And he's like, basically like, oh, I can't believe I did that. You know, I can't do this stuff anymore. You need to leave me alone. And we can't do it. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada. So there's that. Another aspect of Pete in the episode, he teams up with Wes, or Wes actually asks him to team up, or they end up teaming up together to find out some more information on Gigi. And as I mentioned in the synopsis, they end up finding out that Gigi was just an alias name. She's really a girl that's related to one of the 4 girls from the bathtub incident, and her sister ended up committing suicide, which could have led her into wanting her revenge on Kappa. And then at the end of the episode, Grace tells Pete, you know, she's finally ready to be deflowered by him, you know, take my honey pot, baby, is what she said, right? Something like that.
Such gross wording. Yes.
Why not?
Not sexy at all.
She's like, sample this nectar. But Pete refuses, and he tells her, and I quote, I don't want your first time to be with a murderer.
We missed the best part, the only part of Pete's that I actually gave a shit about, where he's talking to Chad.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh, because that was such a small... Okay, well, let's rewind. There's a scene in the middle of the episode where Pete is with Chad, and he's the only person there because all the Dick Dollar scholars have left, and they're reading Boone's will. And we end up finding out, and so does Chad, that Boone basically left everything to Pete, and they have this long conversation of like, well, why would you do that? Like, you say you're not friends. Were you secret gay lovers? You know, what's going on? Secret friends? Secret this? Secret that? And Pete ends up confessing that Boone is basically his mole his deep throat. We don't know if it's literally speaking,
So you
but
guys
basically his deep throat in the Greek fraternity world, because earlier, about a year ago, Pete tried to become a Dickie Dollar scholar, but he didn't really know that much about golf, and he wasn't like all about the Dickie Dollar scholar life, so he got turned away. We saw nice little callbacks with some of our homies that have since passed away: Caulfield, Roger Dodger, and Earl Grey.
I will say one thing about this bit. It kind of bothered me in this episode that people like flipped for no reason whatsoever, and it didn't really follow their characters. Like Zayde was like, "No, we shouldn't kill," and at the very end, she's like, "Yeah, we should." Grace, get the fuck out. And for this one, like he's like, "No, you shouldn't be like a murderer, Grace. I love you. We should have sex." And we shouldn't have sex. I'm a killer. Like they didn't make sense. I don't know, but I did like the reading of the will, and afterwards he's like, pick something, pistols, golf clubs, whatever. Like, we're gonna duel, which would have made Pete a fucking interesting character if we got to see the duel.
But he decided not to. So after all of that, I should say Chad offers him to be a part of the Dickie Dollar Scholars. Pete was like, hell no. And Chad was like, well, you can't, say no. If you get invited, you have to be a Dickie Dollar Scholar. So we have to duel. And as Pete leaves, he's like, you're gonna get murdered, Pete. You'll be murdered. So we'll see where that picks up.
That
oh gosh,
one of the Red Devils, and that Chad takes him out.
That's funny.
You know why he's gonna die? Because he didn't have a sick workout regimen, and his body's not a wonderland.
Oh my god, I died laughing with that part.
You're not a John Mayer fan?
Squared.
So you don't have a sick ab regimen. Your body is not a wonderland.
Why would you apply for the Dickie Dollar Scholars when you've never played golf?
Didn't he say he was trying to do a story on the sororities, and that was supposed to be his?
Yeah, but I think that probably was after he got denied, in my opinion. I think he really legitimately wanted to be a part of the Dickie Dollar Scholars for some reason.
Because maybe Poppy's right, and he's the other twin, and that's why Boone had to go in there and do it himself.
Well, there you go.
He couldn't get in because his body's not a wonderland. Not like
interesting. No, that's interesting. I'm glad that you're getting some proof to back up my theory. So let's talk about.
Doesn't mean it's my theory though.
Well, there you go. Well, let's talk about Pete in general this episode. Do you think they made him suspicious on purpose because he's not involved in anything? Obviously, he has to be involved somehow. Do you guys think that he was involved all the time? Do you think they had to make him involved because we never have really seen all of the girls, the Chanels, together when the Red Devil is around, and so this was their way of getting all the Chanels together, so it quote-unquote proves that none of them are involved? What do you think Pete's involvement in this episode has to do with the story, and has it always happened?
I told you since episode 2, since the mascot, that Pete had to have some type of involvement with the Red Devil,
Right.
Because
Yeah,
mask.
for some reason, I read a lot of reviews online, and they were like shocked that he had a Red Devil costume. I'm like, did
I was like,
none of you pay attention during the 2 hour premiere? Because we clearly saw that like the
Right.
first time we were introduced to Pete.
like I just now my interpretation on how he's involved is different. I feel as him and the female sister are sharing the suit.
I think he might have been used by the Red Devils because otherwise he would have been a part of that whole Gigi, Boone, and whoever our theory holds for like the last Red Devil. I don't think he is the Red Devil.
I think he was
Right.
sleeping with the female Red Devil, maybe.
Maybe he was the one that turned on like the friar by accident. Like he might like I think that he killed someone by accident or something, or like he blames himself for the death of Mandy or something like that.
Or
But I
maybe
think
he
he's a
got
red herring.
maybe he got the first
Okay.
sorority girl, and then the twins caught on, and now they made him his pawn. Mm.
Hmm.
Maybe he did the spray tan and stuff,
Exactly.
and that's why
I
he has the costume, and then he feels guilty for the first murder, but then the other two caught on and made him a pawn, an accessory for their murder.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, because something of note that was mentioned in the episode, which Priscilla just brought up, is that someone had to have turned on the friar, and I think we all have sort of forgotten about that because we automatically just are like, Chanel did it. But if
Well, no,
Chanel's
'cause
saying
Chanel
that she
said-
hadn't,
Chanel's like, I didn't turn on the fire, bitch.
yeah, so it could be that someone that is the Red Devil, like the last remaining Red Devil, or one of the other Red Devils, might have turned it on and led to Miss Bean's death, because they listed everyone's death, which was fantastic. I was like, damn, a whole lot of people have fucking died.
Mhm.
Right? Chad's loser's friend. Like, yo, she like listed the important ones, and she's like, yeah, and the rest of Chad's loser friends.
I honestly think though that doesn't mean that Chanel number 5 isn't like the killer, or like that doesn't rule out the Chanel.
No, I think she's the one that was sleeping with that got Pete on wraps, and he was like, you should get out of here yourself, because like I said, I feel like realistically she hasn't really proven anything that
To
shows
be
that
fair,
she's
Zayde
not yet.
wasn't there at Black Friday.
Yeah, oh, I loved when Denise
Oh, I
was
know.
like, I know it's you, Zayde
Zayde
Williams.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it kills me every time.
She wasn't there. She might be right. She might be onto something.
Oh
Mm.
gosh, please do not give Denise delusions of grandeur.
If she turned out to be right, and
The whole
all
time, that would be hilarious.
fuck, they pull off the mask like Scooby Doo, Zayde's grandma, or some weird shit like that. Oh my god.
I think because Zayde's doing it. 'cause
I'm
they
trying to
wouldn't
think
let
if
her
this
grandma
is now-
do it.
If they would have anyone where it was a Scooby-Doo moment and they pulled the mask off, I think it's going to be the Dean.
Okay, can I brush everybody?
But I think she's been in the room with everybody, so it can't be someone that we know playing the Dean, per se. And I also saw rumors online that a lot of people think that maybe Gigi is still alive, that it's a fake head. A lot of people are like, it was too gray of a head. I mean, I don't know what a
It smelled
cooked
sick.
head would look like.
Oh, I'm sorry. A head with no blood, it's gonna become paler. I don't know if people realize that. With no
Okay,
blood.
that's, see, the internet with their theories are never right,
But
or
I
not
can
always
tell
right.
you guys right now that a lot of our theories are kind of wrong, but kind of not wrong. I did. Keke Palmer did admit that the killer is someone that's obvious. Like it was meant to be obvious.
Damn it, Kiki! Why?
So
are you
it's like
ruining
someone
my
in our
dream?
face. So it's like someone in our face. Like it's
Yeah, I read somewhere as well. There's a quote from Ryan Murphy that said that the killer, you'd be able to tell who the killer was in the first episode.
Yeah, like it wasn't one of those. That's not one of those like we're making it harder for ourselves than what it really is type thing.
Yeah, it hasn't been as easy as the Ten Commandments killer, though.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Huh.
Like,
That puts a new spin on things, but I don't know whether you can trust Ryan Murphy, like to tell.
but
tell
no, Ryan Murphy said it and Keke Palmer said it at two different events.
I would
But
trust
they-
Kiki more.
Yeah, which
And I
Chantal.
trust Kiki. And I trust Kiki. So when Kiki said that it was like someone obvious, like the killer's an obvious killer, I was like, word, I believe her. So who is it? Who do I? So I think when we answer, we should just go with our gut reactions, not no far fetched theories, just our gut. Like from the moment we watched the show, who we thought the killer was.
Huh. That's a good idea.
Because that's the thing. Because we always like to analyze what the clues we get and everything, and we like to make a bigger theory of what it is. Plus, we all watch different shows that like make you not trust the initial reaction. But if two people are saying that it's right in front of us, I think we need to just go with our gut.
We need to look right in front. So before we make our final choices, if we can even believe it, any final thoughts on the episode as a whole? Anything that we've missed that anyone wants to comment on?
No,
No, it was
we already
all
mentioned.
overall. It was an alright episode. Wasn't like A1 like any other one, but it did its job.
Okay, so let's get our campus superlatives on right now. So this is the final time that we're doing this season, if anybody can believe that. This is our penultimate episode here. So for the last time, for the very last time, and I'm going to make notes because we'll see if people have bragging rights next episode. So for the very last time this season, who do you think the final killer is, or if you believe there's more, the final killers are? And as Ryan Murphy has said, about 4 people are going to survive. So around 4, if you want to do between, let's say, 3 to 5 people, who do you think is going to survive until the very end that will be eligible and will make sense to be in a potential second season, which is rumored to be a summer camp inspired season? So once again, who do you think the final killers are, and who do you think will survive past the end credits?
Okay, since he
We
said
will
he was gonna burst my bubble, I want to hear Prince's first.
Well, no, I want to save him last because if
Yeah.
he's going to be bubble bursting.
Well, no, that's not the bubble burst. That was obvious. That's obvious because she said it's Candle Girl. That's out of the question.
Okay, that's what you're going to bubble burst?
That's
Okay.
from Bubble Burst.
Oh, okay. Well, who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
I'll go. I'll volunteer as tribute.
Okay, you can be our virgin sacrifice. Well,
Thanks,
not
Kat.
really virgin, but
Our unvirgin sacrifice.
yes. Go ahead, Prince.
Survivors. I'm gonna go with Grace, sadly. Pete, sadly. Zayday, are we putting adults in this one or are we not?
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
If you wanted to split it up, you could say who will continue on into a next season and who, ends up surviving anyway.
So
Because there's no way they're going to kill off everybody except for 4 people,
True. I want to say that the survivors are those 3 and wishful thinking Chanel number 3. And I think Niecy Nash might come back. My killer, I'm gonna go with Chanel Oberlin.
Which one? Oberlin?
Chanel. Yes. If I'm gonna go with my gut reaction, I'm gonna go with Chanel because initially this all started. The first deaths all started around her, and I'm gonna say because she wants to be like this world famous news forecaster. If she survived this, it would have been the best story and the easiest way for her to get a lead into this career.
See, I do have one other thing to back that up, even though I don't think it's my
And I
theory.
also
But
think when she called her mom, I think she was lying. I think she called Pete.
wouldn't it be weird if the Radwells had been there longer, but they've never heard of the Oberlins?
Absolutely.
That struck me as weird.
Like she keeps talking about how rich her family is. He says he's always talking about how uber super duper rich her family is, but yet his parents never heard of him.
Here I am helping his theory.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of convinces me, but
I'm gonna go with Chanel.
Okay. Interesting. Priscilla, do you want to go next?
sure. Okay, so I'm going with Chanel number 5 still, just because she looks really spastic. And we've talked about it before that if someone comes out, like in a lot of the murders, but doesn't die, it looks suspicious. And she's come out in like the most murders possible. Like she's been attempted to be killed. Like Roger and Dodger like have died in front of her. Like I don't know. And she knows the campus sorority, like the house, more than anyone else has. And it would make sense if like Predatory Les is like, I knew it was you. It has to be someone that Predatory Les knew. So I don't know.
Now you put a hole in my theory. Thanks.
If we have to go with gut reaction with who we thought like the killer was, it's Chanel number 5. If we get to go for like crazy analytical, Candelabra. And as for people who survive, I'm not changing who they are. It's Grace, wah wah, Zayday, Chad, and Chanel. With hopefully fingers crossed.
Oberlin.
Yeah, Chanel. When I say Chanel, I mean like the OG, Chanel Oberlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully? You were going to say and hopefully?
And hopefully Denise Hemphill. I hope that she comes out like, I don't know, every time they call the cops in the next season, like Denise Hemphill pops up out of nowhere, like.
Yeah.
Or she's the camp counselor, something weird like that. I hope she makes it.
Or the local. Oh, or she could be she's still working for the police, and the camp could be in the same town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the woods someplace, so it's in her jurisdiction.
Exactly. And since she's guessed, it wouldn't be like someone is coming back, per se.
Exactly, yeah, because she's not a series regular. Maybe they might make her a series regular. Who knows? If she survives. All right, Wilson, your thoughts?
All right, I'm going to go with who survives first. I was thinking Denise for the reason I stated earlier that you guys just repeated. I'm going to say Dean Munch is going to make it simply because, you know, she wasn't coming back in the first place. She was only going to do one season. So I don't think she's going to die. Like she's just not going out like that. Zayday and Grace. And I think that there might be one other person, but I don't quite know who. Somebody else is going to slide in there, but I think those are the main survivors. Maybe Chad may survive. And then as far as the killer, like all these clues are kind of throwing me off, but it's supposed to be someone that Predatory Les could identify, and it's someone that we've known from the beginning. So I don't know. I don't know. I really want to keep saying that Grace is the killer, simply because I don't like Grace and I want her to be something, but I know that's not right. So don't laugh. But I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it yet. Maybe Chanel number 5. Yeah, maybe it's Chanel number 5. It might maybe fit her personality a little bit better. So I'll say Chanel number 5 for today, since you're taking notes, Bobby.
Woohoo!
Okay, so my turn. Let's go with survivors first. And pretty much my list has stayed the same for the most part, I think. So obviously, Grace. No matter what, she's going to survive. She's one of the final girls, as actually the final episode is going to be called. Zayday, of course. Chanel Oberlin. And Hester. And I'm going to add in Denise Hemphill for good measure, because I just can't see the show continuing on without her homegirl Denise. The killer. I'm going to stick with Pete. And even if he is not the final killer, obviously he's mixed in somehow. So his name is attached anyway.
Oh, that doesn't count. You can't say it like that. You have to say who the Red Devil is.
I'm not done.
Okay.
And Chanel number 5.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay.
So Pete and Chanel number 5, I still feel like Pete could be the sister for some reason. I mean, they haven't had sex yet, so she's never seen what he's got.
But he did make an initiative, so it kind of takes it away from it. But
well, I don't know. I still find him ridiculously suspicious. And the fact
But I
that
can see Chanel
Boone,
number 5. 'cause
wouldn't you
she's
think
black.
Boone would leave family, like a lot of his stuff? So there's that too. I don't know, it just seemed kind of weird.
Well, yeah, but if he left it to the sister, then that would make, if he ever blew his spot, that would be the clear. That would, if you leave it to like the middleman, it's a
This
little,
reminds me
it's
of
odd.
Boone saying, "Have you talked to Zayde?" He would be one of the ones who would have been able to talk to Zayde.
Yeah, but I've never actually seen him with Zayde. Like, you know what I mean?
He follows Zayde's Twitter feed.
Yeah, and he's the one. He talked to Zayde, and no, that was New Tempo, where they had the whole like tandem.
He's always
joke
following
together.
Grace around.
And Grace is always with Zayde.
Yeah, but never the three of them together. So you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird. Like Zayde's like definitely the friend that doesn't cock block. Props to you, Zayde. Respect. She's like, I ain't third wheeling it. You go get it. But I'm like, I
He's
can
poking
see
holes
the
in
Chanel.
your theory.
I can say. Well, I'm just saying I can see the Chanel 5 though, because she's like a slut, and then maybe like she slept with Pete too. Like she did get Eva Howard.
Well,
Yeah,
remember, she has teeth down there.
she does, allegedly. I don't know. I hope that one of us is right. I hope. Even if it
None of
isn't
us
with our
are.
final, well, that would be funny. Even if it's not with our final sort of guesses, because we've all sort of changed our guesses at one point this season. I know that some of us have been sort of like stuck on like some people, but earlier in the season we had like different guesses. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be interesting if at least some point this season we actually said who the killer was, even if it's no one that we mentioned right now. Like I will literally have my jaw on the floor if it's like Candle Vlogger for some reason.
Oh my god!
I think that would be spectacular. Or Grace, because Grace has been like built up as like, the girl that survives. The Laurie Strode, the Sydney. Now I can't remember. Sydney Campbell. There you go, from Scream. Like she's been built up as like the girl, and it'd be funny if she's not the girl.
Well,
it's great.
Maybe Cindy Campbell actually never killed Emma Stone last season, and that's why she went back to college and became Chanel.
Okay, yes, that's exactly what
Instead
happened.
of being Scream, she decided to switch it up and be a Red Devil.
There you go. Yeah, bam, mic drop. So it's time to get a little spoilery. Let's dive into some spoilers for upcoming episodes of Scream Queens. This is an official spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Check out our official Facebook like page by visiting facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? And honestly, because we're at the end of things, the only thing that I have is ratings for the week. Ratings for this latest installment of Scream Queens. It was viewed by 2.4 million total viewers, 0.9 in the key demographic. It ticked up a 10th.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's good. That means it might actually get renewed.
Yes, which is exciting for all of us. So join us next time for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid? Scream Queens. Visit poppychuloradio.com/archives to download this episode and many more. Registered users will gain access to our archives of previously aired broadcasts. Please like us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? You can also like Poppy Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/poppychuloradio. You can email us with any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns at contact@poppychuloradio.com. Co-host, can you please wish the listeners a good night?
Good night, guys.
Good night. And I'm actually the Red Devil killer.
No,
Chomp.
as all of us die.
Plot twist. Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid? Scream Queens. Good night, everyone.